Wow, another good start. Yep, audio's fixed. Thanks. I didn't do my sound check. I was playing around with my desktop instead. Hi. I hope that doesn't set the trend for the stream today. How is everyone doing? I hope everyone is well. I am okay. Thank you. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. That's crazy. So, I hope everyone is well. I hope, yeah, we're not going to go into the discussion today, but in these crazy times we live in, I hope everyone is doing okay. I hope all of our friends in the States are safe and good. And I should really close my mail down. There we go. Mark's been watching my streams all day. Why? There's a huge gap behind me still. Ugh. Oh, here we go. Okay, I've got my microscope turned on. Let's turn that off, shall we? Just for now. Don't worry, it's coming back. Hello, Costa Rica. Yeah, there's a big gap behind me still. But it, my picking place is on the way. It is traveling. It's still China side. I believe it's still in Hong Kong, or it's maybe left Hong Kong. I don't know. And the feeders are coming separately. They're coming by DHL. I see a printer behind you. Oh, can't point. Yeah, there's a printer. That is correct. That is my printer. So is Christmas. Haha. No, it's actually, so it was supposed to ship out on Friday. But, of course, you know, typical paperwork gets submitted, but nothing gets picked up. It got picked up on Monday evening. So it's on the way. They replaced the camera. So the S1 went back to EM Logic. They replaced that left camera, and it did fix that issue. They haven't fixed the vibrating vacuum pump because the machine's working with it, but it's just sounds terrible. So that's on them. That's okay. But obviously I'm getting a charm high now. So my journey for now with a Neoden pick and place is over. Maybe one day in the future I'll get one of their bigger machines. We'll see. Almost here, arrived almost. Yeah, I got an LCSC order yesterday that delivered one big box, not opened it yet. I don't get so excited anymore opening LCSC boxes. Okay, I'm going to go through and say hi to everyone in the chat. And I missed some early chat because I had to switch from top to live. But hello, I'd like to work out how to pronounce this properly one day, but G-Bound1, yep. Good morning, Adam. Hey, Alvaro. Bleh. It's Jerry, hello. Hi, John. Hi, Deshipu. I don't even know how to pronounce that either, so there you go. I'm an Aussie, I can't pronounce anything. I talk funny. Good morning, Rat Madness. Hello, Michael. Hey, Rob, you're here early? What's going on? Good morning, Graham. Hi, Henrik. Hey, Dave. I think we're going to have a few Dave. And it's Cable Tie, who I could not pronounce correctly. So I did a live stream with John Oxer. Well, it was his Superhouse TV. It was his stream on Sunday, and I joined him for the stream, which was pretty cool. Had a lot of fun. I should get a link to that and post it. We had a really good chat. Anyway, and there was someone commenting in there, and I couldn't work out how to pronounce it, and I kept saying Cabletti, but it's Cable Tie, of course, but there's no space. So good morning. Hi, Albert. Hey, Ezzy. Mark, hello. The Embedded Hobbyist, hello. You almost missed it. Not even close. Hello, Crazy Roops. Johnny's here. Hey, Adam. Good to see you, mate. That's Adam Welch. Oh, got a few Adams now. Yep. Hey, Rotter. Hello, Christopher White. Good morning. Hi, Philip. Hi, Savage Electronics. Hey, Eric. Mr. Tada 98. That is cool. I was going to call you Tada. Hey, Andy. Hello, Gary. I think I said hi to David. Say hi again. And Johnny's listening through his hi-fi. Have you got me in full stereo? Yeah, bad joke. Can anyone tell I'm tired? Hello, Kuka737. Audrey. Hello, Zero himself. Good morning. I don't know what week 2 means. Hi, Ian. Sorry, I'm still going through the list. Hello, Paul. And Sylvia. Hello. I got them. We're talking about these today, Sylvia. Thank you. So it was Paul and Sylvia that sent me these little Frogo pins. Very cool. Hi, Bruce. Oh, my chat just completely jumped. Oh, well, don't know where I was up to. Hi, Lloyd. Good morning. Hey, Kelsey. Hey, Evzen. Jade Tax. When will the TinyPICO be in stock? As soon as my pick and place arrives, mate. Sorry. It's a disaster. But pick and place, I don't know. They say it's coming next week. I'll believe it when I see it. I did see, I popped into one of Acrobotics' streams. He was working on his LED control thing. He's done a couple of them, though. I missed the last one. That was yesterday, I think. Yesterday. Yeah, I missed that one. Hey, Leo. Haven't seen you for a while. Hope you're well. Hi, Griffin. Aditya. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but hello. Cortana keeps getting activated. I wonder why. Oh, week 2 for the light bulb being dead. Yeah, I just don't have any motivation to change it. My lights are off most of the time in here, honestly. I've been sitting in the... I'll tell you a funny story in a moment. Just made Sylvia giggle and smile. This is my... It's not a cup of tea, but pretend this is the cup of tea. You can pretend that one. Okay, so I think... No, almost caught up. Hi, Renee. Right. Okay, so... Caught up, I think. So, funny story. I've been doing a lot of coding recently while I wait. Hey, Lewis. Morning. How long from when you get it to production? All stars aligned. I should be up and running in a couple of days. Although I've not used this particular charm high before. Like I know the software, the files are the same. I should be able to just take what I've already got and just modify that. And I know what to expect with it. Like I should be up and running very quickly. It's going to just come down to loading up all the feeders and tweaking all of that, getting all that set up. I need to get I still haven't got one, an external compressor for the pneumatic feeders, and I'm going to have to, obviously, for now I'll just sit that in my office and I'll have to listen to it. Even though it's a silenced one, it's still going to be louder than I want, but I'll live with that in the office for the time being before I run proper cables for it. Yeah, like I should be up and running fairly quickly, but the first thing I need to do is crowd supplies order. So that has to get done before I have any of my own stock. It's just the way it's going to be. So yeah, but I'm hoping very quickly. Fingers crossed, if everything aligns. The interesting thing is going to be the machines coming from TNT and the feeders are coming through DHL, and I bet they won't align. So we'll see what happens. So, hey Yasir, how you doing? Hey Photochromax. To say hi to Lloyd, if I didn't, hello Lloyd. And Cheetah Kid, sorry, all these names. And Jim coming in, wow. And Simon, hello. Yeah, Simon, I'm still monitoring yours. I have a funny feeling it's been lost. But, so, crazy stuff's been happening. I had 7 packages lost from a whole bunch of stuff I sent around the time of Whoppers and onwards. Seven packages confirmed lost or confirmed not found. They call it not found, right? Because then they're not liable. Or yeah, it's really interesting wording. And then I've had another 5 or 6 packages that have been in an investigation to try to find out where they are, which normally leads to not found, right? So these 6 packages that were marked as not found, I started trying to put a claim process in with them, and they're normally supposed to action that within 5 days, and it's been like 10, and I've not heard anything back from anyone, right, over there at the company. But what's happening is all these not found packages are starting to turn up. So, like, I had a fairly large TinyPICO order that was sent out like start of April that was lost, that I refunded weeks ago, turn up yesterday. So the guy I've been speaking to, he is happy to pay me again for them, so that he's going to organise that. But yeah, it's been really weird. So even though packages are being marked as lost, and I've been refunding people, or I've been sending replacements, like I sent a replacement reflow master to a guy, and his first one turned up yesterday, even though it's been marked as not found for 2.5 weeks. So yeah, that's been kind of expensive and frustrating, but I'm glad people are getting their stuff, even though it's taking a really long time. Hey Rando, remind me to pay for my LCSC order someday. Okay, should pay for your LCSC order. Yeah, I think Pomeroni, and I think I've got a few, and Mauser Crowd Supply still got a few, but not many. I think they've got like 100 left, and that's it. They're almost out, which is why. Hello, Jet Gyrotech. Sorry, I was in the middle of a sentence. Hello, hello. Hello, HeroCraft. Hey, Nicole. I sent your order yesterday. Very lucky. It was the only ones I had. And they're gone. Off to you. Hopefully they'll get there within Hopefully they'll get there within 2020. If it's not found, can't be bothered to look. No, well, that's... So they on sale DHL e-commerce, and it just means that DHL e-commerce can't find it, can't track it. But what, after a year you received it? That is crazy. Look, it's just a state of freight right now. No, Crowd Supply have sold almost 2,000 of their stock, plus there was the 1,400 that was from the campaign, so technically it went through them, but that wasn't ones that they sold. But they've got, obviously, this new order, so maybe eventually they'll get to 4,000 TinyPICOs. That'd be cool. Busted by the wife. Oh, there was nothing, Nicole. There was nothing in the package. Don't worry. It's okay. Just a few trinkets. All good. Sorry, mate. Busted. My father received a postcard after 30 years. Wow. Okay, that's crazy. So I just want to quickly tell you a funny story. So I've been doing a lot of coding because I've been waiting. Like, there's really not a lot I can do here. Weather report is dark and cold, but I've got the heater on. And I generally code in the dark. Like, I don't have the lights on, but during the day it's light, right? And I'll have the window open over here, and I'm just focusing on coding. I've been smashing out heaps of features in my parts, and like then I'll just be working away, and then suddenly the door will open here, and Yaz will walk in to ask me a question or something, and I'll turn around and I can't see her because it's pitch black in my office because the sun had gone down and it's dark outside and my lights are off, and I've only got the light coming in from here, and I'm so focused on my screens and what I'm doing that I just don't realise that everything around me is like I'm in dark. And that's happened to me like 3 times this week and last week. It's bizarre how focused I get. I blame my ADHD for that one. As of May 26th, my Whopper has departed sorting. Yeah, I think yours, Bruce, is also in the about to wind up the investigation and be marked as not found. But a lot of stuff's it's turning up. Not everything's been delivered yet, but like one package disappeared for almost 3 weeks and suddenly was in, like it arrived in the UK, like it's going to the UK, but there was just nothing for like 3 weeks and then suddenly landed in the UK. So yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. Hey Tabletronics. Okay, so let's get started. It's in Canada, yes. Okay, so now it's at the mercy of the thanks Hellray CNC. It is, liking is free. Only 10 likes. Oh, I don't know. Actually, so the dashboard's broken. Like last week, it doesn't show the right concurrent views or likes. Anyway, that doesn't matter. Oh, I've completely lost track of thought. What I was saying. It doesn't matter. Oh yes, it's at the mercy of the local post now. Sorry, nothing I can do about that. So let's get started now. This test jig, I finally sent them off to get made, and they're on the way to me. Yay! But I have not made any adapter boards. But I'm glad I didn't, because I found a mistake on the test jig before I sent it off to get made. I feel you with the focus until interrupted thing. Just never start coding or layout. Also is starved to death. Yeah. Yeah. My system eventually says I need food, but yeah, I could probably go a day and a half. Cool. Thanks everyone. So let me show you. So I've changed my layout a bit so I can show you this screen and still keep my chat on, which is really cool. So this is the multi-board tester. Woohoo! And I'll show you what mistake I made. So, well, first I ended up implementing this, the load switch on the battery, which is good. I wasn't going to. I kept umming and ahhing. I may use it, I may not use it, but at least it's here now. So this is a load switch, and I can basically turn the battery on and off. And what I did to... Hey, James. Because we were discussing, for those that caught the stream a couple of streams ago, we were discussing how I'd even detect if the battery was working or not. And what I've decided to do was... God, look at that. I hate that. Anyway, what I decided to do was keep using the 3.3 volt test sense pin, right? So I've got an I/O that I can detect if the 3.3 volts is present or not. So technically, when I shut down 5 volt power, well, I turn on the battery and then I shut down 5 volt power. If the board is still working, 3.3 volts will be present, right? Okay, we're talking about cameras and time passing. Yes, time passes fast, unfortunately, too fast. Hello, Technolog, and anyone else that's joined that I missed. So, I got that done, but what I realized was, for my Nano, there were 2 pins that we didn't break out. Let me just get rid of these ugly looking boxes. There were 2 pins that we didn't break out. Me. My fault. And those 2 pins are D plus and D minus. See what link? No. Links are... You're not a moderator, so you can't post a link. Hang on. I'll quickly make you a mod. That you can post the link now, and then I'll unmake you a mod. So I had to reshuffle these pins and add D plus and D minus, because on the Nano there is USB support but no USB connector, right? So if I just switch over to here, as you can see, there's no USB on here. Let me get some more light. But it does have the serial chip, the serial UART and it exposes D plus and D minus, so you can just stick any USB connector you want on. So I forgot to expose D plus and D minus, which was a bit of a whoops, but luckily I found that and I fixed it before I sent this off to get made. So these are on the way back to me. I got the DHL shipping notice yesterday. It says they're going to be here on the 12th, which is a really long way away, but I'm pretty sure I'll get them next week, early next week. So what I need to do now is make the adapter boards. Did that link show up now? No, not seeing any link from you. Maybe because you'd already posted the link. Yeah, weird. If you're on my Discord, just shove it in the Discord and folks can find it there. Or I can repost it here. Replacement Mac Plus board. Oh, there it is. Okay. We have a link now. Open in new window. Oh, wow. Smart security technology. So 5 megapixel camera module. It's got audio, USB, oh, look at all the basic type. Add Wi-Fi, add PoE, SD card slot, add cable. So what's the full one worth? Hell, 75 Australian dollars. See Nicola Faust's Twitter for what it can do. Okay, cool. Daytime performance in low light. Wow, that's really packed into the back. Nice heatsink. It's using a Sony sensor. Wow, okay, cool. Yeah, Power NTSC. Seems to be still a thing. I don't know why anyone would make anything NTSC. Well, I don't know why anyone would make anything that uses fields, and that's all that really is, right? Everything should just be full frame. Does it need a lens? Doesn't look like it needs... yeah, maybe. Yeah, you'll need to... Wonder if it comes with any lenses or not. Hey, Arnold. I see there is not impedance matching network between the ESP and the antenna. Where do you see that? What are we looking at? Okay, I'm going to close that. Cool. Thanks for sharing that, Rando. Now I'm going to banish your moderator skills. Moderator privileges. Okay, so we need to make adapter boards. Now the adapter boards for the normal boards are going to be fine, but for the... I'm getting distracted by this chat about the camera. But the adapter board for the Nano, let's go back over to my desk. So, does everyone remember these little Frogo pins we spoke about ages ago? So what I was going to do was use the 1.27 millimeter pitch normal header pins and just bend them a bit, because I couldn't find these Frogos, but Paul had some. Pal is your pal. I ordered some ESP32S2 modules yesterday. I'm collecting them now. Cool. What are you going to do with them, Bruce? So, I should have just taken a whole bunch out. Now my camera can't get any closer. That's why I turned my microscope on so we can have a look. And I will go back to the microscope in a second. So this is what these look like. Let's do it under the microscope. I need to turn this camera off to turn my microscope on. So there will be a... I'll just switch back to here. There'll be a delay while I do this. Yeah, they're going to be really awkward to solder, I think, and to line up. I'm going to have to build some type of jig to do it, and I don't know what that's going to be yet. But first thing we need to do is work out what we need to do to actually get them working. Okay, so just bear with me a second. I'm switching to my microscope. Or not. If it decides to turn on, here we go. What kind of output is your microscope and camera? It's a HDMI out. Okay, we're getting that black issue again. It's HDMI out, and it's going through a HDMI to USB capture device, but it's always been a bit flaky. So I'll try to do this quickly. I'll grab one of these, and so I get to show you. So here's the little pin. Oops, if I can get it in front of the camera. That's what the little pins look like. And hope you can hear me okay from all the way over there. And then I'm looking at, I have to look through the camera view, it's slightly different. And then you'll see here that they mount on the board like this. So there's a slot. I'll go from underneath. You can see that the curve gets soldered on one side, right? And then there's a slot. And if I move that pin, oh, we're going black. Hold on a second. Okay. No, going black again. I'll get this out of the way and then we'll go back to normal. Sorry, this is... Okay. If I move that pin, you can see it bending. Right? So there's a bit of give. And then that's what the board would slip into over here. And it clips into that section there. So that's what these pins are. So I need to design a footprint for these. Really need to measure these slots widths and lengths out, and then make a footprint that my Nano will plug into. Because right now, obviously you can see here, it's this. I mean, that's the wrong spacing for my Nano, or is it? No, actually that's the right spacing, 1.27. So I need to build a footprint that this will slot into. And it clicks in place, and then when you're finished, you go, and it flies out across the room. It's pretty cool. Actually, do I have I do. Oh. Okay, I'm going to turn my camera back on, get rid of the microscope. Bear with me a second. I need to solve this microscope blacking out screen thing, but I can't do it until I get myself a new Mac. How does it go again? Flick. So let me just go back to my DSLR. So yeah, it's like this. So when this goes in here, gotta be really careful. Clips in, right? But then when it comes out, everyone see that? I'll do it again. I'm prepared to destroy this ESP32 room module. Maybe I'll do it on the main camera so everyone will get to see it. Okay, is everyone watching? So it's in there, and when you try to get it out, you ready? Right? I wasn't joking. It literally flicks out. Got to be very careful getting it out. It's got a lot of pressure, but it needs that pressure to be able to make good contact, right? That's pretty funny. Okay, coffee time. Do you use a HDMI splitter with it? No, I'm not using a splitter. And using a splitter doesn't help. I've tried that. I've tried using a switcher. It's something to do with the frame rate coming out of the camera and my Mac. Go on, everyone. Let's all start with the. Where's Shaq today? He's not going to make any fruity computer comments. I've got a Cam Link, and I've also got just a generic one from Amazon, I think. But it doesn't matter which one I use. It's the same problem. Always through here. Reminds me of playing football in synagogue with quarters. We would flick them around and hit some poor person in the head. Yeah, I still love playing that. Yeah, on the table, soccer, with the coins. Yeah. Well, you probably shouldn't be doing that in synagogue. Anyway. Hey David, it's out, isn't it? What's out? What have we done? Yeah, I'm going to have to hand solder those pins. They're through-hole pins. We're having a PAL versus NTSC. Okay, that's fine, you can do that. Yeah, no Shaq and no Hujad. That's okay, maybe they'll join later. Okay, I don't know what anyone's... ESP launcher. It is an ESP launcher. Okay, I'm just looking back, I'm not sure what all the... There's some questions, I don't know if they're to me or not. Like David's asking, what's the problem? I don't know if that's to me or not. That's why they're called frog pins. I think they look like a frog leg. So what I need to do is measure... Where are my calipers? So my calipers are... Shit, why is my camera going in out of focus? I need to fix that. My calipers are they're really crap. Crap plastic ones. I bought these from AliExpress or Banggood, I don't know, 2.5 years ago. I need to get myself a set of metal ones. This is actually broken and it just comes right off now. Anyway. So they are Frogo late here. What? Frogo blue. What are we talking about? How do you hold them in place when soldering? I don't know. I'm going to have to probably make some type of jig, 3D printed jig or something to hold them in place. I think that's what I'll have to do. Okay, autofocus should be off now. Frogo latte. What are we talking about? My caliber can do 0.01 millimeters. Mine cannot. Mine can do only 0.1 and I don't trust it at all. Banggood, what a name. I know. What a hilarious name. If I want to get into the top hot air gun, what should I buy? Hello, Bernd. Buy just a cheap one off eBay or Ali. What is it? The 8, 9? Can someone tell me what that brand, what that number hot air gun that everyone's been getting? I got a set of original cals off Amazon. Yeah, I need to get a new one. Every time I use this, I go, I really need to replace it, and then I never do. So I'm going to switch back to here. This is not going to be overly interesting, but I need to kind of work out. I don't even know if JLC PCB will route a slot this thin. Yeah, I can't even see what that is. I don't even think I'm doing this, guys. I'm sorry, I'm going to do this under the microscope, but I'm not going to switch back to the microscope because it's going to go funny again. Oh, hello, Mr. Watts. Thank you, 858D, and James. Thank you. Oh, and Toby May. Hello, Toby May. Yes, that's the one you want to get. It's nice and cheap and pretty good, and it shouldn't burn your house down. I hope. So I just want to see if I can measure the. Roughly, so that's a 0.5 mil slot, and how long is it? Yeah, these are really crap calipers. It says 1.8 by 0.5. Who can remember that? 1.8 by 0.5. So I need to make, okay, so I just accepted a board from me with 0.5 times 1.5 millimeter slot. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, they'll accept it. What will it come back with? 0.5 by 1.8. Well, that's what the Frogo board is, and he kind of designed this thing, so I'm just going to go along with his. Bruce forgot already. Okay, sorry. So I'm going to, just give me a second, I'm going to well, let's start off by making a footprint. Okay. I need to make a footprint for it. Hello, Capo Steve. Probably won't burn your house down. Well, that's a fear, like with something that's hot. It won't burn your house down and shouldn't burn your fingers. Like I use my hot air, I use my hot air station for prolonged periods of time. Like when I'm reworking panels or whatever. And like they get really hot, like you're pushing a lot of heat through them, right? And like I've often been worried about having to hold my hot air handle for a really long time. So I guess we'll see soon. What will we see soon? Okay, so I'm going to, what am I doing? Okay. Come on, Seon, let's not get distracted. I'm going to open up my Unexpected Maker library, which has got way too much stuff in it. Way too much. And I'm going to make a footprint for this. Why am I talking like that? I have had the hot air blower fail and self-destruct on me. Oh, wow, okay. That's not good. Yeah, like, it worries me. It definitely worries me. So I'm going to do a... Okay, let's start with a new footprint. So, should I do it directly on the Nano, or should I just make a Frogo pin to start with and then line them up? No, I'm going to do it directly. I'm going to go TinyPICO Nano Frogo. Yes, let's create this footprint. Let's do it. The board should be back with me next week. Oh, right. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Look, I mean, they can do slots. They just... You know, I've got slots on my TinyPICO boards. Hang on. I wonder how big my slot is on my USB. I mean, they do slots, because you can maybe see here, there's a slot for my USB. They can do it, they just, I don't know. I'm so used to getting, you know, when you put an order in, and then you get an email back the next day saying, hey, if you want to do that, you're going to have to pay more, or sorry, knocked back. Like, I'm so used to that now with JLC PCB that I never know what they're going to accept and what they're not going to accept. Bruce is getting money back. That's good. From tax return. That's always nice. So, I'm going to start off with just... what I should do is... Actually, that was maybe silly. Maybe I'm going to not do that. Maybe I'm going to go to my TinyPICO... So I've got a TinyPICO pads footprint already. This one here. I might delete this. Yeah, I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to duplicate this and call this... That way I've got everything, the alignment already there that I need. And I'll just build it onto that. I think that's what I'm going to do. I've had that horrid email about having to pay more. Yeah, I just, all the time. Every single thing I order with JLC PCB these days is you must pay this much more. Okay, so that's pretty much what my Nano is. I can delete this by... Okay, now change my grid. I can leave it a mil, but I need it to be no. Actually, I'm going to change it to millimeters. Oh, it is 1.27 already. Interesting. Alright, just nothing's aligned because of where they start. Okay, that's fine. So let's start off by doing I need to go to the mill and sorry if I miss anything in the chat, just at me. Yeah, JLC PCB are fine. They make fine boards, and it's just my dramas with them is always because I'm pushing the limits of what their capabilities are. So it's my own fault. So making a milling shape is really hard. You can't make odd shapes easily. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to save this. And I'm going to... I've already got a milled section. I'm not going to make one from scratch because, seriously, painful. So on my USB connector for my TinyPICO, did not want to do that. Try that again. On my USB connector for my TinyPICO, I've already got these slots that I made, and they were quite painful to make. Eagle doesn't really have an easy way to do this. So that's actually 4 arcs, or is it two arcs and 2 lines. And I'm sure I've got the, sure it's in the milling? Yeah, oops. So I'm gonna copy that, because that's how JLC PCB do this. You can't do a cutout, you have to do it as a milled outline. Now let's see if that actually copied, shall we? It did. Okay, good. So, let's turn my milled layer on. It is on, but I can't see because of the background, because they're black. Okay, let's change the color of the milling layer. How do I do that again? Here we go, color. Can you ask the Frogo pin guy if he has a footprint? The Frogo pin guy doesn't even give out Frogo pins. I'm gonna make it bright green so I can see it. So no, he's not going to give. He's not going to give them out. Easy to do it. Just make a rectangle. Hello, Surico. I can make a rectangle, but I can't do round corners on it. Not in Eagle, anyway. Okay, so this is... Let's see how long this is. Go back to millimeters again. So this is 1.016. Right, so 0.65 millimeters for a non-plated slot, and I need 0.5. Hey, Helmet, so you see? Like, but it doesn't matter what their minimum, maximum specs are, because what they can actually make is totally different from that. Like, I don't want these to be so wide. That's the problem. Okay, so I need these to be 1.08. So it doesn't help that they're starting. Let's see if I can move it to the 0, like over here. Maybe get it close on the grid so I can... Okay, so now it's at 0, so now I can just say 1.8. Yeah, and 1.8, and will it fix the end? Yes, it does. So these are now 1.8. Now, how... I don't know if it's... Whoops. I don't know if it's going to let me shift it direct. I don't want that. I just want the milling layer. Just the milling layer. I need to move it. So if I can get it directly on 0. No. Hey Aaron, you're not late. A wizard is never late. Just want to see if I can get it as close to the 0 mark as possible. Just so I can see if it's close enough. So if I make them 0, and now I can make these negative 0.5. Hopefully the arcs will not break. Okay, so that is a 0.5 slot width by 1.8. Apparently. Looks really big, doesn't it? So the idea is it would sit on the outside. I don't know how far it needs to sit. That's what's going to be interesting. And then what we need over here is a... Again, I don't know how close. I'm going to have another look at that, maybe under the microscope, to try to measure how close. But then what I need is a hole, and this needs to be... I don't know how big a hole needs to be for a 1.27mm pitch. Does anyone know? So I'm just checking the... Did I say 1.8 or 1.08? Maybe I said 1... No, 1.8. 1.8 is correct on the length. Between 1.8 and 1.9. I'm calling it a 1.8. And it looks like the distance between the pad... What is that? I'm trying to look from the center of the hole if I can. About 0.6 from the center of the hole. Thanks, Mark. The half of 1.27. No, I'm curious to know what, on the Frogo, the slots sit 25% under the board, and the hole wants to be only just bigger than the pin for stability. That's right. So I don't think my calipers can measure the width of this pin. Maybe 0.3. So 0.3 millimeters, the pin apparently. But yeah, I don't even know if... I don't know how small they can drill. I mean, I know they can drill 0.2, obviously, for vias. Like, I don't want these to be too tight. Paul, I've also got fairly shallow castellations on my board. Hey Alan, good morning. So yeah, I don't know what distance that has to go in yet. So does anyone know, make it a via? No thanks. I have enough problems with JLC, PCB and vias at the moment. Does anyone know how big the drill should be if it's 0.3? You got a coffee? I got a coffee. Mine's almost cold. It's almost ready for a refill. Dishipu, do you know what it would be? Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to save that. I'm going to go look at a... I must have some... I've got 1.27 millimeter things here. 0.66 drill. This is not going to be in millimeters. Again, very frustrating, Eagle. Okay, so that's... They say 0.508 drill. I'm going to do 0.508. Oh, Simon says 0.65 as well. Silver almost got up when you said about that brew. How come it never works for me? But is she making you one or me one? Or herself one? No, I'm not using inches. Who uses inches? Or are you all... Yeah. Measured in KiCad. In millimeters? Yeah, but which footprint? 0.4 pin is 0.6, so I guess 0.5. Yeah. Hey, Robert. And again, hi to anyone that's joined since I... Oh, and Helmut also said, well, 0.5, less than 0.6 data for the plated slots, and half the 1 mil are not plated. Yep. Sorry, I missed that one, Helmut. Okay, cool. I'm going to go, yeah. It says here 0.508. I'm just going to do that. And, worst case scenario, it'll be a bit too small and I'll have to shove it in tight, or it'll be too loose and I'll have to make a, some form of jig to hold it in place. Hello, Dren. Hello, Fred. Always makes things look bigger number. I still work in mil. I just can't work in millimeters. Everything is... All the numbers that I need to know are already in my head in mil. So, yeah. Here we go again. So I deliberately don't have my settings... I have to keep changing it because I work in mil and I don't want to set my default to millimeters. Because then I'm going to screw myself up at some point. Okay, 0.508 and... Okay. And what did I say that gap was? I can't remember what I said that gap was, roughly. From center of the hole. Did I say 0.3? No, 0.6 or something. From the edge to the center of the hole. Maybe 0.3 or 0.4. So... This arc won't show me where the left is, will it? No. I have to draw a line. Roughly like that. And then see how long the line is. 0.6. So it's a bit far away. I'm worried about how close I can get it though. Yeah, I don't think they're going to allow me to... This distance... That's going to be a problem, maybe. I don't know if JLC PCB... If that'll fit within their rules, but we'll see. There's a data sheet from Mauser. They use 0.7. Yeah, that'll be really loose though. There is no Frogo pin supplier. Well, Paul is the Frogo pin supplier. So I don't know where he got these from, but the guy that makes them doesn't actually sell them. So they say what? Points. Yeah, that's really loose though. And clearly these are for square pins, not round. Yeah, it's so that footprint I got this from, I've used that footprint before, and it's fine. But that's fine for normal headers. These are quite thin. Anyway, I'll work it out. He's sitting on a gold mine. Well, he sells his own boards, so maybe... Am I staggering? What do you mean, am I staggering? I don't know what you mean by staggering. So, I'm worried about that's going to be too tight. Like, I feel like these need to come back more. But I don't want to make it too loose. Yeah, I mean, this is look, it's most likely that my first board is going to fail. Like that's about 25% down this line here. I've got the pins with the Frogo board on the same order. Yeah, but did you buy yours from Fred or did you get yours from Ali? I think you bought yours from Ali, right? One of the clones. Fred was definitely not selling the pins. I asked him. Whoops. Need to get smaller movement still. So if I do it hard up to the edge here, there's at about 25, that's a bit more than 25%, I think. And the center of that is 1/8. Make that the center ish. And then it's a matter of just working out this distance here. I just don't know how far away that needs to be. The further away that pin is, the further away into the slot the Frogo is, which means the less force there is pushing it down. Further problem is that plated slots must be within a pad design. Non-plated slots defined on mechanical layer. Yeah, this is not plated. So this will just go into, like I join my milling layer and my dimensions layer on my Gerber export. So this will just go into the into the board outline layer, and I'll route it out, just like I do with my with the slots on my USB. So that should be fine. That should be fine. Okay, so now I need to, this is where it's going to get painful. Oops. Need to select that and that. And what happened to the group option? Where's my group? I can't group in this view? No way. Okay, that's going to be annoying. Oh, didn't grab the front. Okay, let's try that again. I'm just showing everyone why they should not use Eagle. It's definitely got some interesting issues. Okay. Why is it not letting me select? Okay, now try that again. Doing the Eagle Rock. Doing the okay, so this should snap now because of my spacing. Of course my pin number is going to be all over the place, but that doesn't really matter. Crowley? No Crowley. I haven't heard any Crowley. I hate how it doesn't keep me on the same tool every time. Okay. So that's one set, maybe. Meters long by yards wide. What? Just use fritzing. Yeah, no thanks. Now, I mean, to make my life easier, I could... just for the moment, don't even know I've got cream on anyway. If I turn off my... Sorry, can't even see that. I'm just going to turn off all my document stuff and turn off my pads. Just for now. So I can grab all of that. Turn my pads back on. And I'm going to just whack a whole bunch down, assuming I can line them up. Oh, I need to turn my outline back on again so I can see. Apparently Command Shift plus G is group. Yeah, I don't think you can group in the footprint editor, that's all. If I'm going to look at going to a different tool, I'd be looking at KiCad for now. Don't think I'd be looking at pads. Oh, I was going to just do it to the end. I didn't even need that on. I don't need that on. It doesn't matter. Okay, so... I mean, obviously I don't know if this is going to be right in the center, but I'll have to rename my pads afterwards. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more. I'll delete the other ones. And I'll rename them all later once these are down. Oh, come on. Doesn't like where I grabbed them from. Seriously, fighting Eagle sometimes is a real pain. I'm sure there's plenty of fighting other things as well. So for those that don't know, Mr. David Watts has been playing... What? The king measured his arms to his nose in feet. Okay. Yeah, Teletronics. Yeah, you can't do it in the footprint editor. From memory, I've tried before. So Mr. David Watts has been playing with KiCad. Now he's been an Eagle user since, well, before I was. So yeah, I'm really keen to find out more about his journey in KiCad. He seems to be picking it up fairly well. Been a few people helping him on the way, which is great. It's always nice to have people to ask questions of to learn quickly. So, Mr. Watts, are you still here? How have you been going with KiCad? Hello, James. I've been down the road of Eagle and then Fusion plus Eagle. Out of pure frustration, I gave KiCad a go. You won't be going back to Eagle. Yeah, it's just, there's a learning curve, right? And there's just familiarity. Like I've only been using Eagle for a couple of years, but I've smashed out a lot of PCBs, right? And I've made all my own custom footprints, and I know all about all the nuances about, stuff, and it's those little intricate things that I have to learn again in KiCad that is going to be painful, right? It's not just grabbing stuff from the library, whacking on a board and building a board. Like pretty much every single thing on all of my boards is custom. So like every footprint on my TinyPICO, on my Pro S2 and on my Feather S2, every footprint including the header pins is custom. So that's the thing, right? There's some nice impedance match trace features which would be useful for you at some point. Sure. We have cookies. Who's got cookies? What? My coffee's empty. That's bad news. Have to do a refill soon. There's no lights on in my house yet, so I keep looking over there. I don't know what's going on. I think everyone in my house has slept in. Flynn actually slept in this morning. Better save this, right? Okay, I just saved this. So, I need to renumber these. The question is, do I renumber them in the order I had them so I can use the same symbol? Which order? So 32 all the way up to 45, 46 to 59, 60. So yeah, it's kind of weird this way, then that way, then that way. But it means I can use the same. Oh, really doesn't matter. I don't know. I have coffee, no cookies. I'd like both. Definitely almost ready for a new coffee shortly. For me, I spent a few months in Eagle and managed to get on with it. Kaikad was days. It just feels right. Yeah. I've got a lot of time in Eagle though. Like a lot. Hello, Ian. Like a massive amount. Okay, so what order have I got here? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. This is where it gets messed up. See? 68, 31. Is there any 23 here? Right. I have to start renaming these. Is this 23? I think it was. Let me just check these again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, just in case it's skipped one or something. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. No, okay, 23, 24. Be nice if there was a renumbering. 25, I could probably write something. 25 already exists, of course it does. I'm putting a 0 on the end so I can rename it again later. 26, 27. I know that could be 28, 29. Like, the thing about KiCad is it feels like it isn't going to be left behind or absorbed by the iCloud. Yeah, I hate the direction that Autodesk is going with forcing me to be in the cloud with Eagle Fusion or Fusion ECAD. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. It's just too slow for me. Like love the features of Fusion, like I really do. I think it's a great app, but connectivity issues and stuff, and sometimes it's just so slow. Sometimes I want to save. Where's 32? P32 already exists. Oh right, it'll be the red ones. Okay, time to delete those. Yeah, sometimes I go to save a thing and it sits there for like 4 or 5 minutes trying to save it. So yeah, I don't want that anymore. Now I need to check and make sure there's nothing on the bottom on this. Yeah, no, there isn't. Okay, good. Good. I recently tried to switch Fusion 360 ECAD, but after my few days work, saves was corrupted. Oh no. Even help desk couldn't help me recover them. Wow, okay. Yeah, I need to still change. Hey Dennis, yeah, I need to change 25, 26, 27. I'll do that now. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, and 37. Honestly, one day in and after changing the colours in KiCad, I kind of forgot that I wasn't in Eagle. Oh, it does some weird things. Where's 32 gone? Oh, thank you. Yep, missed 32. Thank you, Fred. Well, it doesn't really matter. they're just numbers, right? They're still all going to get hooked up to a pin. Off to sleep. See you, Rando. Have a good night's sleep. Autodesk flagged my commercial 360 account for making commercial products. What? They flagged your non-commercial 360 account? It's just like moving things around in KiCad looks clunky. Like I know that like you can move things which break stuff, and then there's a key you can hold to move things that doesn't break connections, and then you can do this, but then there's a key that you hold that does this, and it feels like the default behavior for move is backwards, and then you have to remember a different key to be able to do the right move. Does that make sense? Like some of that stuff seems a bit awkward to me, but like you get used to it, you know. No, the zoom thing we fixed like 5 streams ago. The default behavior for zoom is really stupid and backwards, but you can turn that off and then zoom becomes good again. So yeah, traces and wires not being connected is disgusting. Right, that's the thing, you need to work around it. You got to know that, okay, you can't just move something, you have to do the other move, the push or whatever, I don't know, whatever they call it, to get it to move something without breaking the connections. I mean, in Eagle, there's some, it handles that really well. And you've got your move where you can push and shove things around, but look, they're all good, they're all bad. Yeah, they've all got good and bad features. Okay, so I now need to make a footprint out of this. So I'm going to take my TinyPICO Nano connector V3. I'm going to duplicate it. Actually, I shouldn't have to do that. I can just add the footprint. And I'll just add the footprint. Okay, so like stuff like this in Eagle really annoys the crap out of me, right? Like every time I have to do this, like that just doesn't make any sense to me. Like you're always going to want to find it by name, okay, not by description. So why do this anyway? Okay, I'm adding a new local footprint, so I've got both here, and I have to connect it now, but I've got to remember how I connected it. So the order. Oh, see, that's going to be painful. I'm going to have to just do it by eye, I think. So, Frogo, here we go. So, connecting these up, it's a bit of a pain. At least I can shrink the window down so I can see. So I did it was 1 to 6 going this way. So number 1 is stat. Number 2 is ground. Number 3 is reset. Now I could have numbered the pins on my symbol better to match them up. So I could have done 1 to 1, 2 to 2, 3 to 3, but I didn't at the time. Yeah, you also paid for Eagle. Yeah, I know. You can copy the connections across the other. Yeah, I can't though because they're labeled differently. Hello, Judge Beeb. Yeah, they're labeled differently, so I can't. It's because I'm on a Mac. With KiCad, it's also very easy to create custom buttons or whatever with a bit of Python code. Okay, interesting. You can extend it, the UI, can you? And stuff with Python. I mean, I can obviously create scripts and stuff here, ULP scripts, but I don't think I can add my own buttons and stuff. Mark, better is an interesting. Not interesting? It's a relative term, isn't it? Okay, 4 is 5 volts. So to get this done, D minus is 5, D plus is 6, EN is 7, 3.3 volts is 8. And then I went 9 was over here, so 9 is VBAT. IO2, IO4, IO12. Okay, this should be easy. 13, 14, 15, 27, 26, 25, 32, 33, 34, 35. And then I went back to here, so 23, 19. I mean, these could have just all been done in order when I routed them. If you have ITAR stuff, it cannot be in the cloud. Oh, really? What did I just do? 24. What's 24? It was 19. I need to concentrate just to get this done. 5, 22. I mean, these are in TinyPICO order, and there was no reason that they had to be. No reason at all. TX, RX, 39, 38, 37, and 36. Okay, so we have a footprint. Hey, John. Always late to these streams. Can you start again from the beginning? Oh, you don't want that, mate. You don't want that. We're currently discussing the merits of moving away from Eagle while I'm sitting here fighting the Eagle footprint editor. Okay, so I now have a footprint for. So update my library. Print foot type 1H. Don't know what that means. I'm going to update my library so that can be seen. Yeah. And now, so I've got a. Does everyone remember that layout I had? This will be interesting because I changed some of these around, didn't I? So I've got a different board. Bear with me. Shall we take a coffee break? I think we're going to, in a second, we're going to take a coffee break. I'm just going to load up another copy of Eagle. And I'm going to load up my... Okay. So this was... So I moved this into 2 new files because it was originally in my TinyPICO Nano tester. And so this is the one that had those breakout layouts. Obviously the TinyPICO Nano one wasn't in the right spot, but in terms of the outlines, but this one, oh, it does have the D plus and D minus on it. Okay, good. So what I want to do is, my plan is to destroy the test board in this one, testing board, and just stay with these 3 PCBs. I'm going to move these headers over so I can connect them up. But we're going to do that after a coffee, I think. Why does free GoPro software want me to create an account? Because they want to own all of your information. What's keeping me on Eagle now is that I've fallen in love with Fusion 360. Losing that integration would kill me. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Fusion 360 is great, except for the online only in the cloud bit, but I don't really want to be putting my CAD directly in there, I don't think. And I still don't like the way they do their library management and stuff. So yeah, but just like you, John, like I've got stacks of Eagle projects. I mean, you've got probably 10 times more Eagle projects than I've got. Like, you're gonna have to keep Eagle around for a long time. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. You know what? It's coffee time. I'm going to put my coffee message up. I'm going to grab another coffee. Toilet break. Back in a few minutes, folks. Okay? Don't go anywhere. Unless you want to get a coffee or something. I'm back. Woohoo! Oh, is Brian here? Hey, Brian. Yeah, KiCad does Eagle import, Paul. I know it does. I tried that early on when it first came out, and it was a bit rough. Maybe it's improved now. Okay, David Watt says it's not improved. Okay, I wouldn't rely on that. I definitely wouldn't bring my Eagles. Okay, why is my stream saying I'm dropping frames? Hold on, folks. Be right back again. Oh, no, we're going green? No. Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, I hope we're back. I just restarted OBS. Okay, we're back. Good. I think we're back. Hey, Acrobatic. How you doing? And in case it didn't work before, hey, Brian. Just saying I wanted to play with it. Yes, sure. I've imported several Eagle designs, including TinyPICO, with minimal issues. Yeah, maybe it was early on when I was playing with it. Not having my library of stuff would be a real pain, having to rebuild a new library again. Look, it's just, it'll just be some teething pain. Hey, Roger. You know, like anything. It's probably worth me doing at some point. Hobnobs. Okay, so let's get back to here. So, what I need to do is I'm going to rip it all up. So this is in a separate file. This is in my tester boards file as opposed to my tester file. So that's my tester. That's staying intact, and I duplicated it. So this is my tester boards file. So I'm going to rip all this up because I'm going to remove all of this, but I want to keep the headers. Rip up. Here we go. Wait, was it rip up? Rip up all signals. Yes, do it, do it. Ba, ba, ba. Okay, so now I'm going to want that and that, and I'm going to just move them over here for now. Doesn't really matter where. Oh, of course it's outside. Okay, that's fine. And that's also outside. Just want it somewhere that's away. Fine. And I'm going to grab... I have to do this in the schematic, which is, whoa, oh so messy. Oh so messy. So, I'm just going to delete stacks of stuff. Delete it all, because I don't need any of it. I hope. Well, I don't think. Well, probably. Maybe. Do you remember this, folks? Yeah. Come on, delete. You know what? Whatever. I'll fix those later. So just all the headers. And they're the TinyPICO Nano headers, but I don't need those because I'm not going to be using those, but I'm just going to put them in here for now. You know what, I'm just going to redo those. So these are my headers coming from the test jig. I'm going to need 3 sets of those on this. I'm thinking of making these as one board, but I'm sure JLC PCB will still treat it as 2 or 3, sorry. Just want to get these into the view. Hello. Just want to delete that. Okay, so I can now rip all this apart. Probably gonna keep those. See, things that are not components, they can move out of the space, but things that are components can't. There's holes. So that's not in the view. For boards that you get for personal use only, do you get lead-free hassle steel? Yeah, if it's just for me and stuff on my, or if it's an early prototype, I do it with leaded hassle. I don't go lead-free. And then anything that I'm selling is either lead-free, hassle, or ENIG. Seemed pretty lonely in a recent previous video. Who are we talking to? Oh, Mr. Watts. Right. Okay, so obviously this board is the wrong shape. That's okay. I'm going to we'll fix that in a second. So the board shape is actually this. Something close to this anyway. Approximately. Really not that important. I'm just going to fix these board edges, straighten them up for now so I can move them easily. Like that's, so okay, that's a really good example. In KiCad, you can't do that in KiCad, can you? There's no, for memory, or no, maybe that's easy EDA. In easy EDA, there's no miter tool where you can do corners and curves from memory. I don't think there is, but yeah, maybe, yeah, that was easy EDA. Who was I watching doing that? Was that Brian, maybe? I don't remember. I was a bit wow when I saw you do that. Can you not do that in you can't do that in KiCad? No. Really? See, stuff like that. And not that I've used it, but Eagle's got that new spline based oh, where is it? For polygons, you got splines now. So you can do really nice funky shapes. Anyway, whatever. There are some compelling features in Eagle still. There really is, but like there's no specific reason for me to leave Eagle right now. But in the future, I think there will be, and that's, I want to be ready for that move if it's going to happen. Okay, so let me just get rid of the this yucky outline. Okay, so that's obviously not the right footprint. I'm going to now add the footprint that I added before. We have to update the library in here as well. I tend to draw board outlines in Fusion, export as DXF, import, find to KiCad. Sure, but that seems a bit clunky. I mean, I'm used to be able to draw whatever shape I want in Eagle and then export that into Fusion and use that, right? Because I can bring the PCB into Fusion. Yeah. You have to use the circle too with a restricted grid and measure it out. Really? No. Okay. That does not sound at all pleasant. There's a polygon tool now, but I haven't tried it. 4 lines and 4 arcs. Wow, okay. I mean, it only has to be done the once, right? So it's not the end of the world, but... TinyPICO connector. Frogo. Okay. So there's my connector. All the way down here. Way to go. And I don't even know where I'd put it on here, but it's a really big board. Now that's interesting. I can keep these, can't I? Yes, I'm going to delete, delete, and delete. And I'm going to... See, I don't know if you can do this in KiCad either, but I can grab these, and if I just put them over here, they are now connected. Can you do that? I'm not trying to make a pissing contest between KiCad and Eagle, honestly, folks. I'm just curious, that's all. Like, I use functionality like that all the time. I don't believe you can do that in KiCad. You can do that? Okay, awesome. That's good then. Of the videos I've watched of people using KiCad to make stuff, and I've watched quite a few videos because I am intrigued, they've never done anything like that. They've always recreated. Maybe they just don't know they can do it. So, okay, that's cool. Good, good. Good to know. When you move the part, you have to drag it, not move it. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter where this sits. Obviously, I need it to have access. What I need to do is grab that and that and move these into place. So these have to stay fixed, obviously. Fixed with the part. It doesn't really matter, again, where they are on the board. Capitals for hotkeys. Ah, yum. So, doesn't look like it's, I mean, ideally I want it centered. That could be a nice video. You try KiCad out with the test PCB. All of us on the chat help you out with finding... Yeah, well, that would be a stream, not a video. I thought about doing that. I thought about doing a stream it's teach me how to use KiCad. And it's a live stream, and I'll make a board, or I'll remake one of my boards without importing it, just remake it where everyone can help me do it. I thought that could be quite funny, but that also... Does it have a barcode on the bottom? No, it's just a brand. I'm not going to tip it so you can see. Don't... You trying to make me tip my coffee on me? I hope you're not. That's pretty funny. Okay, so I need to now work out how I would route this. I mean, some of them are obvious, like D plus and D minus. What I need to do is what I lost by doing this. Is the reference to what everything is from here, right? I mean, I've got this open still that I can compare it with. So I know that J3, I know that's D plus, D minus. That goes to 3.3 volts, that goes to 5 volts. Maybe we can do a multi-user stream. I'd be up for being on that. A multi-user. What do you mean by multi? As in 2 people on the stream, like I did with John Oxer the other day? What the time is next time he picks up the coffee? What's the time? Yeah. I'll do a live stream with you, Mark, if you want to jump on one of my streams. No problem. 2 guys, 1 stream. It could be titled Sion Gets Schooled in PCB Design. Yeah? I mean multi-host. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can work something out. Or a Learn KiCad MakerCast. There is a MakerCast coming up this weekend on the 7th for me, the 6th. And I believe, I could be wrong, hang on. I need to confirm. Whoop. Let me confirm, but who's saying nope, nope? It's been postponed. Why has it been postponed? Okay, I missed that bit. I missed that part of the discussion. Well, there you go. Okay, it's been postponed. So is okay. Right. Okay, fair enough. Maybe a good call. So is the same host hosting a week later? I don't want to say who it is in case it's not been, unless it's been changed or unless there's going to be some announcement. Coffee bean postponed. Oh, it's now called J4. That's annoying. Which one is it? Oh, that's J1. J3. Okay. That is the plan. Okay, I'm not going to say anything. There's someone hosting that has never hosted before and that has never been on MakerCast before. So it's a double. It's a new host, new participant, new host. Very exciting. Stay tuned for it. J1, right over here. So this is, we need to, so where's this tool that does the whole thing again? Breakout pins, all pins. Just do defaults. Nice. Breakout pins, all pins, defaults. Good. So D plus, D minus, 3.3 volts and 5 volts. That's D plus, oops, D plus, D minus, 3.3, is it 3.3, what do I do, was it 3v3? Once this is done once, or once a lot of these are done once, it doesn't have to be done again. 5 volts. And then they're all I/O. And then on this side, VBAT, reset ground. So this side is VBAT. Whoop, what just happened? What did I just change? Oh, whoops. Okay, try that again. VBAT, reset, and this is ground. Do you use Eagle command line much? I find it's really helpful sometimes. I always forget. I know I can start typing and it goes into here. I know that. I just forget most of the time. Hey Camillo, yes, this is Eagle. I think I'm getting a bit hairy on my chest. Okay, Cheaty Kid, thanks. That's too much information. Elon Musk? No, Elon Musk is not hosting. On the schematic, how do you move a component and things attached to it? You grab them and move them. There is a way of like just grabbing this and having it move with everything attached, I believe. I don't know. What's nice in Eagle, and this is fairly new, like it wasn't like this when I first started using it, is like before you used to have to grab like this, and then you had to go to the move tool and tell it to move the group, right? But a lot of functionality now is just on the select tool. So I'm on the select tool. If I grab it all, right, I'm still on the select tool. If I click on anything, I can move it. Oh, I grabbed too far. Whoops. Try it again. So I'm on the select tool, I grab, I can move, and then I can also do my rotations and stuff. Right? As soon as I start moving it, it knows and it puts me into the move space. I mean, this stuff is like fundamental basic things that most non-ECAD software, you know, design tools has had forever, right? I mean, I've come from the 3D animation VFX space. Like we've had, you know, our 3D modeling and design tools and VFX tools have had basic functionality like this for 20 years. You know, it feels like the UI side of ECAD is really far behind normal digital content creation tools, which is frustrating. It is frustrating. Okay, now this will be not connected, but this is the 3v3 2 for a second LDO. So I'm gonna mark that as that, but it's not actually going to be connected. And the rest is just, these are all I/O. So I need to work out which I/O I'm going to send to which based on where they sit. And as you can see here, this is already going to be a pain. Okay, they're wrong. I've got these on the wrong sides. Okay, so what's really cool is I can do this, right? I can... actually. So there is a way of moving and breaking, and I have to remember how to do that. Teletronics, do you remember how to move and break at the same time? With the move tool? Just comparing stuff in KiCad while you do it. Yeah, cool, all good. Hey Rick, I have a custom keypad that sends commands to Eagle's commands line with one button. Yeah, you've mentioned that a few times, John. That would be super handy. Yeah, it didn't always work that way in Eagle, and it was really frustrating. Does anyone remember in Eagle how I can break? So like right now, if I grab this and move, it moves like this. Ooh. Gifts from John Oxer. Nice. Thanks, mate. There is a break tool. I'm sure there is. Or is that only in the PCB? I think that might only be in the PCB side. Yeah, here, see? You can break, you can... Great, you can't do that in schematic. That's annoying. So I've got these the wrong way around. You see I've got VBAT up here and reset and D plus D minus here, but they should be flipped. Okay, I can just change their positions. I'll just change their positions, that's fine. I need to record what that is. So that's 346. Everyone remember 346? Actually, no. Yeah, someone remember 346. Thank you. Someone wrote it down. And 1466. 1466. It's 1466. A nice tool would be a swap tool. Really? 1466? That's not right. 1446. Silly. Silly Sion. $14.46, and this one was $3.46. Okay, that's better. Cool. Thanks, everyone. You're all my notepads. You can just cut the pins, if I recall. Can you? Yeah, I wanted to keep the trace there. Yeah, anyway, that's fine. This is okay. So I need to... So I've got nothing on the stat on this one. But I can connect just an LED or something to this on the board. No, it wasn't 347. I didn't do 347, did I? No, I didn't. Okay. Don't do that to me. See if I can do this with 8mm traces. So I'm not going to be able to route this way, which is interesting. But of course it won't tell me I can't because it doesn't understand the milling. So this is going to be lots of wires. So let's set my wires correctly. 10 and why am I 16? Oh, wrong one. So unlike my other boards, I'm not going to be able to route. Maybe I can route through like that. Not that I trust JLC PCB. Yuck. Yuck, yuck. The swap function is pin swap, and it's under the paint roller icon. Ooh, okay, thank you. Pin swap. Never used it. Be nice to be able to just, I hate how Eagle does this. You see that? When I move it this way, it does a right angle. When I move the other way, look, it goes inverted to itself. Very frustrating. And you can right click on it and change the modes. Oops. Okay, didn't want to do that either. I have to make space for these other ones. I should have done that first. What do I need? Well, 3.3 volts can come straight off. No. Space does a via. I don't want a space. Right click will normally swap the angles, but in this case it cycles through the different modes. So not really what I want. Now I'm not powering this thing off these, so I can keep my traces pretty small. I don't even have EN connected anywhere. So testing EN is going to be interesting. I can't really do that. Hey Eric, how you doing? So I don't need to break EN out. Reset and ground I do. Sometimes it's annoying how Eagle routes. Here he comes with a bloomin' tick. Speaking of ticks, did everyone see JLC PCB are doing some type of competition? And I saw Julian's video about now that's interesting. Houston, we have a problem. Okay, we have a problem. We have a design problem. Oh, here we go. So the blue names means that someone is a moderator. I've marked them as a moderator for the chat on my streams, so they're able to moderate and kick people and do whatever else. The tick means that Eric Make Me Labs is a verified YouTuber. So all of my boards get powered from the 5 volts from V-Bus on the USB. But my Nano doesn't have USB in, not 5 volts coming in. It needs to be powered by the 5 volts. But I don't have the 5 volts connected that way. There is no 5 volts connected to the 5 volt pin. David's joke? What was David's joke? Oh, the bloomin' tick thing, right. So there is no way of getting 5 volts to the TinyPICO Nano. Shit. Okay. So maybe my Nano is going to need a custom tester. Maybe this tester is only going to work for my TinyPICO, my Pro S2, my Feather S2, and any other boards that have a USB connector on it. I need an inverter? What? No. I need a way of feeding 5 volts into through these headers, which I don't have because I don't have any extra pins. No, I don't feed 3.3 volts to this either. See you, Alan. Have a good day. I'll chat with you later, mate. The 5 volt and the 3 volt on these are sense pins. They're a way for me to detect that there is power there. I don't pass power into them. They're connected to the Raspberry Pi's GPIO. They're not connected to power. Yeah, that would be the only way I could do it. But if I did that, yeah, then I don't need the D plus and D minus. But yeah, I could do that. I could do that. I didn't want to do that, but I could do that. Just for the 5 volts. Yeah, or I could put a, well, I don't have a header. Yeah, it'd have to be USB. Well, either a USB connector or a USB to something, right? Because the only 5 volts out I've got is via the USB. It's got to come through here because it's got to go through the load switch. Okay, well, I don't have to make... Yeah, but pogo pins won't work because what I'm saying is I need to solve this without having to remake my multi-board tester, right? I could solve it easily by sticking another pin here, but I don't want to have to remake these. I've got these on the way. USB would be good, like mini USB? No. So I just need to, I need to make some space for a USB connector. Okay, it's not the end of the world, sure. Could have been much worse. Could have been much worse. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Is there 5 volt in the Raspberry Pi? There is, but I don't want to use that 5 volts because that's not... If there's a short on my TinyPICO Nano, it's going to potentially destroy the Pi. That's why I've got 5 volts going through a load switch here. So if there's a short, this has got a short protection on it, and this will shut down the 5 volts. Hey Amit, you want to, honestly, Easy EDA is a really good place to start with doing just DIY electronics, PCB design. Put a Schottky on your daughter board. Doesn't matter, I still have no way of getting the 5 volts from the Pi. Like I'd have to put a, you know, a bodge wire on. I don't want to do that. Yeah, the whole idea is to not have to bodge anything. That everything I need has to come from these headers or the USB plugged in, right? So I'll just do a USB. So I'll end up, this is all going to pretty much be the same then. I have to put a USB on all of these. So yeah, USB is fine. It's just something that another oversight, just like my D plus D minus was. And in hindsight, if I put a USB on here, I don't need to use D plus and D minus. And I could have done other things. Yeah, I don't want a bodge wire. Because the bodge wire is going to have to go between the two boards, which means I can't pull the daughter board out. Does it mean you have to connect USB to every board you test? Well, yes, I always have to do that. I connect USB to every board I test every time. So, you know that cable tie. I don't know if you've seen this is my TinyPICO test jig. So when a TinyPICO gets put in, right? I mean, it gets put in with USB connected to it, so that it gets put in by the cable, right? And then that gets put down. Except it's not the right spot. That's okay. It gets clamped in. USB is connected on there, and it gets tested via USB. And I do that because if I don't do that, I can't test the USB connector. And I've had a few boards where the USB hasn't been reflowed properly, right? So I need to test it the same way a user uses it. If I stuck pogo pins underneath to test the flashing in the USB and I don't test the connector, then I can potentially send boards out that don't work, right? You've got to test every portion of the board. So yes, every board has to be plugged in, put in, tested, pulled out, USB taken out, next one plugged in. So, but the difference here is that I won't have to do that on my Nano board because it'll be one USB plugged in all the time. A chip crusher. It's very loose. My clamp. I'm back. Latte made. Why is it not finished? Sorry. Distracted. So I'm going to have to come here and grab a USB. Connector board under test. That's the one I want. Copy. So I can copy and paste now between boards. Always projects always could, but that was a joke. No, it wasn't a joke. You really want me to crash the boards, don't you? It'd be nice if when you copy and pasted stuff between boards, it preserved the layout. That would be nice. I need quite a bit of space now. Oh, come on. See, I don't like when Eagle does that sometimes. The problem's going to be, it's going to be maybe hard to get this in and out now. If I made a design, what's it called, like a design group out of a part or out of something, it will preserve the schematic and the PCB layout bit. But yes, I'm using USB-C on here. Oops, don't want that. I'm not going to use micro B. Oh, ever again. So I'm watching you fight Eagle all the time. Yeah, I get annoyed. You know what? I fight Eagle a lot more when I'm on a stream. Oh, come on. Than when I'm just normally working. I tend to not concentrate as much when I'm on a stream on what I'm doing. Like, I'll click on something, and because I'm talking, I won't actually look to see if the thing I clicked on was clicked on. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense. Is anyone going to be put off if this isn't dead center in the middle of my board? Or am I going to have to go and fix this? 265. Oh, wow. That's an odd number. 265, 1515. 1515 minus 265 is 1250. 1250 divided by 2 is 625. 265 plus 625 is 890. How was that, folks? 890. I was close. What is the center? Which means this is not in the center. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to draw a line through the center. What did I say it was? 8 what? 890. Like, having an align tool would be awesome. Like, what tools don't have an align tool? I want to be able to grab 4 parts and do the vertical align, and it just puts them all on the same thing. I know I can use the paint tool to copy and paste that across, but still, it's a bit annoying. Okay, so we're just going to move this to center it. For those with OCD, I don't have, but that's okay. That's why I asked. KiCad has it, really? Yes, go KiCad. I scienced it out. Yeah, just send me to Mars. Some resistors. Why? Because why not? Don't even need them, but have it. Okay, so my concern is how am I going to be able to get the board in and out now that I can't get to it from the side easily. That's going to be interesting. Maybe I can put this underneath. Maybe the USB can go upside down. What do you think about that? Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it, mate. There was no need, but thank you. Thank you. KiCad has a line to top, bottom, left, and right. That's cool. Maybe Eagle has a script that does it. I don't know. I've never looked. And distribute. Yeah, Eagle's got distribute, but the align tool is under the mirror icon. Oh my god, there's an align tool. Wow. Except... Okay, so do I have to have something selected, do I? So if I grab these... Align... Right. Holy moly! Holy moly. Savage Electronics. For the win. I didn't know. I've never looked. I'm sure there are icons on here I've never clicked on. Like pin swapped. I've never clicked on pin swap. Optimize. What does that even do? Edit 3D. I know that doesn't work because I don't have managed libraries. Wow. Yay. Look, now I can stay in Eagle. So, this is what I want now. How do I make this distance from the Y here the same as this distance. Does that make sense? So if, if I've a line through here, how do I make that and that the same distance apart? I can go home now. Woohoo! That was awesome. Thank you. Wow. It's a life-changing tool. It will be. But now how do I do... I can't tell you how many times I've needed to do that, and I've gone to the paint tool, the paint roller, and I've clicked on something, and I've said, okay, copy the Y position, for instance, and then click, 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 click to align it all. Can't tell you how many times. Is that 16-pin USB-C? This is USB-C, yes. And interestingly, I don't need all these pins. I could have just got away with one of the USB-Cs that have only got power on them. And you can get those. And Brian used one of those on a stream, his stream, the last stream or the stream before, I can't remember. He's probably gone now. But I don't have any of them, and I've got a reel of these, so I'm just going to use these. This is what I use on all my stuff. So you cannot change the grid size and lock to the grid. Kind of, but it gets difficult where if I turn my grid on, it depends on the grid spacing, right? So I believe I can go and set my grid position. Where is it? This one here, my mark. I've never really understood the mark, but I think if I put a mark here, oh, why did I put it there? Right, because it snapped it. Interesting. If I put a mark, right, if I put a mark there, that doesn't change, that doesn't make my 0, 0 point, right? So maybe I'm not sure what a mark does. What I want to do is make this my 0, 0 point, or snap my grid to this position here, but I can't do that, I don't think. But I can't set the origin of my grid. So that's the problem. That's what I thought mark might do. You can distribute all three vertically. I don't know if I can distribute vertically, but I don't know. Because they're different sizes and they're different. I want to keep this in the center here. A mark does everything. Ha ha ha. Get rid of the wires, so simple exploring options given. What? Any mouse. Oh, okay, maybe that's nothing to do with me. Okay, that's fine. Can't you set a new origin? No, I don't know how to set the origin. That's what I thought Mark would do. The origin of each part, okay, is at center. No, I can do that on the footprint, but I don't want to. Like this one. Yeah. I could move this part and make the origin the center. There might be a way of setting the origin, like through a command line. Like there might be a set origin at whatever. Well, but the problem with doing that is that it uses this origin point, which is here. That origin point is the point where you can't move components outside of this. You can't go to the left or below this, because of the limitations on the licensing on Eagle. So if I was to move the origin point to here, it would mean that all of these parts are below and outside of the, you know, like if you would have seen before, if I try to move a component, if I grab this resistor and move it down here, it says I can't do that. Standard edition means it's outside of the allowed board area. Right, I can only move it to just on that, just above it, right? So that won't work. That's probably why they can't do it. Surely the last few mil don't matter. No, they don't really matter, but you know. I can do it by eye. I've got plenty of space. So that's 1, 2, 3 grid positions. Ah, so look at that. It's not even. So my grid's not even centered, so that's no good either. Okay, whatever. That looks good enough. And I will just align these again. Now that I just broke that. There we go. Okay, that'll do. Yeah, I dare you to eyeball it. Thanks. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the reason I can't set the origin anywhere I want is because of that licensing limitation that Eagle do, which is a bit annoying. Okay, so I've now got 5 volts. I need to... Okay. V-bus out. I need to call this V-bus out. So now I can connect those two. And because it's power, I need to give it some power. Question is, do I use... Interesting. I'm not going to use D plus and D minus. I'm going to use the ones from the header pins. In my screen, the grid looks awful. Yeah, it probably gets completely crunched by the compression on the way out. Good night, Rhoda. Have a good sleep. Have to be up in 5 hours. Ouch. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. You can turn the grid back off because it's really, yeah, it's yuck. And I'm going to also, so I'm not going to use D plus and D minus on this. Cool. Okay. So I do need to get this VBAT over. And this will be powering. So I need to... Okay. My phone is ringing. I'll turn that off. Okay, so I need to route the rest of this. So I need to work out what pins I want to use. Now remember, I did them in order. So Mux 1. So it's 1, 2. Which order to do them? Which Mux is Mux 1? That's Mux 2. So I've had to put the address resistors on. Maybe it's school time. No, not yet. It's a late start today for my kids on a Wednesday for school. So I've got this one here, this MCP 23017 is all pulled low for the 3 address lines. So that'll be the first one. And then this one over here, address line 0 is pulled high. So that allows me to address that as the second one. So this is the first one, so the top row is the first lot of pins. So I'm going to start it at 1, which is backwards. That's okay. All CAD systems welcome as long as it's KiCad. That's almost funny. Okay, so going backwards. So going backwards on here, I don't have to do them in order, but so 20 is going to be lined up with IO35. So do IO35, IO34, IO33, IO32, then IO25, This is the glamorous side of doing PCB design. IO26, IO27, IO15, IO14. So I don't need the numbers to match. 14, IO13, IO12, four and 2, IO4, IO2, but I do want them in order, right? So, not order, I do want to use up the whole mux on one side before I move to the mux on the other side. So, that will be 23. That'll be 19. And 18. So this is why hang on, let me just do this. 18. That should be IO5. I'll just check that. Yeah, the stuff ain't any better in Kaiga. No, this stuff is just painful stuff. So this is why I did them in order. So remember when I started designing this in the stream, and people were looking at these and asking me, why did I route them this way? And why didn't I just route them to the closest spots anywhere and like do a half and something? Is because I want to be able to say to the board, this board has 16 IO, right? And then I just need to cycle 1 to 16 through my mux to be able to talk to the 16 IO. I didn't want to have to work out which one was going to which and do a custom mapping for every board that I put in there, right? If my board has 24 IO, then I know that it's 24 IO in an order where it's 1 to 16 or 0 to 15 on the first one, and then 0 to, what would that be? 0 to 5. No, 0 to 7 on the next one. I hope that makes sense. So this is why I did that. Okay, good. That's in the right order. Finally all makes sense. IO22. Now my TinyPICO Nano is the most important board I need a tester for right now. Like, I've not even written any software yet for any of this. IO0. Because I don't have my new boards yet. I'm going to have to do all that from scratch. That is TX, RX. But the reason my TinyPICO Nano is the most important one, it's the only board that I've got that I cannot test any other way. Because there's no USB on there, and it needs to be mounted to another board, I need a tester to test them. So all the other boards I've got, like my Feather S2, my Pro S2, I can plug a USB connector into it and I can flash it. I can't test all the I/O easily without sticking a breadboard or something, but it at least means that I can power it up and make sure that it actually works. Wait, I did 36, no, okay. And then these are not connected. I'm going to leave them just for the moment. What are we talking about? We're talking about pizza delivery. So Elon called me, did he? Wow, it's almost 9 o'clock. Holy moly. Are you going to get Superhouse to create a pogo hat for the TinyPICO for his new programmer? No, because I don't know. Well, that's what I'm doing right now. I don't need a programmer, I need a tester. And my tester will flash my TinyPICO Nano with default firmware. But Yeah, like it doesn't need a programmer because it's got a programmer on it. It's got serial UART on there already. It's got all the things that John has on his programmer. So that doesn't make any sense. The only thing it doesn't have is the USB connector. And I did that intentionally, right? Because it's a castellated board, and this allows anyone to stick whatever USB connector they want, or not put a USB connector at all if they don't want. So, I mean, there's plenty of reasons why you'd not want a USB connector. You might want to flash it via pogo pins, as you say, whatever, but not ship something with a USB on there for other people to be able to connect to and do stuff with. Anyway, so let's do some routing. This should be nice and simple because everything lines up. I'll clean all this up later. Hope no one tells me to use the auto router. Does the USB on the daughter card also need a short protection? No, because it's coming through the short protection through the cable. So the short protection is here. So USB does not go, so the 5 volts does not go from here to here. This is data coming in. As you can see, there's no 5 volts. There's no power from here connected across. The power comes from the 5 volts of the Raspberry Pi. And it comes through, I mean, technically it could have come through this USB into here. So through the load switch. So the voltage, the 5 volts coming into the daughter board from this, any daughter board, has already got the short protection on it beforehand. I did have a PTC on here, but I removed it because it doesn't make any sense to have a PTC on there when I've got short protection inside that load switch. Yeah, I need to clean all this up. You realize I'm going to spend hours redoing this routing, right? To make it look really pretty. Not now. I mean after the stream. Hi, Yuz. How's the household today? Starting to look good. What, the routing? The routing looks terrible. Not a fan of the routing at all. But that's okay. It's just going to be functional right now. This is a bit of a pain that these cross over. I could flip them around, you know. Maybe I'll flip those around just to ease my routing burden. Better than your routing. Sorry. Nah, I'm just going to leave them. Might have to be careful of this milling. Be careful of the milling. Well, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Yeah, okay, I'm going to have to flip them around. I hate jumping around. So these three got to be flipped. That's going to be 23. And that's going to be 18. That's better. Again, it doesn't matter because I don't need to know which I/O is which. I'm not testing an I/O for a specific functionality. I'm testing that the I/O works, that I can set it high, set it low, and it reads the correct value. And I also want to compare every I/O to every I/O to make sure there's no short. But what the actual I/O is irrelevant to me. Hey Ben, good morning. Yeah, I could have done it with the... you're right, I could have done the other way around. Bottom and back to get the wires in the right spot. But the truth is I really wanted to do this. Like I did. That was my ultimate goal, was to always just do that. Okay, so we're almost there. Now I'm thinking on the daughter boards to actually add... Can the second pin go outside and back? Outside and back. Oh, well, it could go around here. Oh, actually, well done. That's a good point. I can't do this. They're going to have to go behind anyway. So that's... Whoa, you know what? You know what? They have to be flipped, as it turns out. And I'll show you why. I just routed them through the milling. Because I mentioned before I have to be careful of the milling, didn't I? Wow, that was not good. So this has to go here. So I'll show you why these have to be like this. Because this has to go to here. And then this one has to go to here, because I need to avoid the milling. Be careful of the milling. Yeah, thanks. Thanks for telling me now. I wish they weren't grayed out. It would have been more obvious. Anyway. Okay. Yeah, whatever. Assuming we're not trusting jealousy PCB to go between the milling. No, I'm not going to trust them to go between the milling. I'd prefer not to. I really prefer not to trust them on anything that's... Yeah. And it's more to do with the waiting time frame, right? How long it takes to get the boards. Like, I don't want to have to wait and then find out that they messed the boards up and have to remake them. It just... Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so... Here we go. Last lot. Assuming I can squeeze them all in. It's not the camera. What? Who's out of focus? What am I missing? This is going to be tight. Actually, you know what I didn't do? I bet you I've not set my correct... Have I? Might have a problem with my spacing now. Okay, we'll see soon enough. Yeah, this is gonna not end well. Oh, it will. Oh, look at that. Yes. Oh, that was close. Ta-da! Ta-da! See from here is the... What? What am I missing? Use underside for some. Yeah, I absolutely I could. I've got a whole bottom layer I could use for sure, but never use the bottom layer if you don't need to. Yeah, that's just rubbish. Anyway, there is a bit more space, as you'll see in a moment. Maybe. Nah, that's good. That's fine. I could also have brought that down like that if I needed to. Cool. So the interesting thing now is I need to just route some of these. And hello, James Sen Sword. Why are you still using only 45-degree angles when this is probably laser printed instead of plotted? Neatness. I hate seeing I hate seeing odd angled traces on stuff. I find it quite hard to follow. It's just a neatness thing. That's all. Okay, so assuming my grounds will all match up. Well, let's find out. I'm going to get some errors. No errors. Interesting. Right, because they've got no things on them. Okay, so everything lines up. No errors, no issues, which is good. Now, I was going to... No, rip up all signals. That was lucky. Up. Okay. I think one stream you should just hand draw the traces so they're all wavy, then send that off. The resistors on USB-C are for telling where the power is coming from, the host. It's for negotiating power requirements. So it uses those pins to it's not how it requests. Like you use a power management chip to be able to negotiate to request higher levels. But from my understanding, I might not even need these resistors, but I put them on anything with my USB-C anyway, because my understanding is these values on these resistors tells the host that it just wants the default power, which I believe is 500 milliamps. Wavy traces is fine if they're all wavy and they're all done really neatly, right? Like something like this, but if these were all round instead of 45s, absolutely. But just arbitrary traces all over the place, I don't particularly like those. D plus and D minus. What are you asking about, Helmet? I'm not connecting D plus and D minus. They're coming from these pins. Yes, it's late, isn't it? It's 9:10. Been going for a while. Go to sleep, James. Have a good night, mate. Thanks for joining the stream. So what I'm thinking of doing is adding some resistors on here to show when there is power or not power, so I can visually see what is happening. So, for instance, putting an LED on VBAT, so I can see when VBAT power is on. Putting an LED on the VBus to see when the VBus power is on, like a power LED and not really a charge LED, just so I can see a visual idea of what the test jig is doing on a board, right? And I want to put that on all the boards. So Well, I don't really need it on all the boards. So there is a, from memory, there is a, not from memory, there is a power LED on my Nano. There's no, obviously, charge LED. That's what the stat pin is broken out for. Yeah, 10 past 12. Go to sleep, Paul. I'm going to keep it on the top in this case because I don't want to... I guess it can go on the bottom. I only need... I need to stencil it, which is a shame. Well, I don't have to. I'm only making one. I could... I'm missing the other side of those USB resistors. No, they go to ground. So, yeah. No, they're right. Yeah. There's nothing else that needs to be connected. So I'm not going to put any LEDs on. I'm trying to think of the merits of putting the USB underneath. Yeah, there's ground plane. If I fill it, you'll see. Right, they're all fine. What are the trace widths? Those look 4mm, hard to manufacture. No, these are 8mm. All these traces are 8mm, except for the power, which is 16. They are huge, way bigger than I need. Do you have another stencil with the same footprint that you could reuse? I do, but there's a lot of stuff around it. Like, you know, if I... it'd be hard not to smear paste everywhere. Yes, yeah. The answer is yes. You know, I've got my Pro S2. I'm going to tell you a story about the Pro S2 in a minute, if I remember. And there's my Feather S2. They've both got the same USBs. Although, yeah, I've even got a stencil for an old one that was just a single board stencil. So I guess I could do that. I don't really want to have to buy a stencil if I don't want to, if I don't need it. But as you can see, the pitch, maybe you can't see, the pitch is really fine on these USBs. They're so fine that JLC PCB still sometimes email me and say, we think the USB footprint is wrong, it's too close. Do you want us to change it? And I say, no! Don't change it! Hello, Orlando. Shouldn't you be at school? Or doing schoolwork? I think you should be. What was that? Every other... never mind. See the 9mm. 9mm? What was that? Every other to reduce crosstalk. Every other what? I don't have any I don't have any I/O going over each other. So there shouldn't be any. You're talking about crosstalk between traces? I mean they're what is my trace distance? What is my... oh, hang on, sorry, I got the wrong screen up. Sorry about that. So my trace distance is 6mm. And that should be fine. None of these are high speed, and it's all for testing. So I think we're going to be good. Okay, so if I'm not going to stick any LEDs on here, then this is it. This is what it needs. Like I'm not... Wow, okay. My stream died. But it should be back. OBS disconnected and then reconnected itself. It's back? Okay. Wow. Sorry about that, folks. OBS, yes. Yes. Okay. Everyone, it's late. I think that I may leave this as is and not stick any LEDs on here. I might just leave this as is and get this made And I don't know if I'll make the other ones before I get this made, or if I just will send this off to get this made, so I can use this to test it. I think is what I'll do. I'm also really curious to know if these slots and everything are going to be right. I want to know that sooner or later. So, okay, very quickly, ProS2. So, I've still not got my final boards made of my ProS2, and I'm glad I waited. Oops, wrong screen. Okay, now I can use that one. That's fine. So, it turns out... I can get a bit closer. It turns out that the pins I selected for my first 10 to keep it TinyPICO compatible... Where's my TinyPICO gone? As in my one that doesn't have any... Oh, here it is, right here. So, the ProS2, the first 10 pins... TinyPICO compatible. So you've got SPI and I2C, you've got the DAX in the same spot. So you'll be able to use shields between them, right? But it turns out, although there's nothing wrong with the pins I chose, the pins that I did choose for I2C are different to the ones that Espressive have now chosen for their Arduino support. And though it doesn't really matter, and I can keep the pins I've got, they will work. Their reasoning for changing the I2C pins are quite compelling. And so I rerouted my board and I moved the pins around, and I'm now matching their default pins. And so, yeah, I'm going to quickly tell you this. I'm telling you the story now so you can get to sleep. So I'm glad I held off doing this, because I was about to ship my boards off. I was going to ship 2 boards off to get made. And I'll quickly show you what they are and why. But on one of them, I've now switched the pins. So, very quickly, my Feather S2, my final Feather, or this board here, doesn't have to be the final, has no matching network. Right? Now, it's supposed to have a matching network. It needs a matching network. But I didn't put a matching network on there because I wanted to see how well this worked. And surprisingly, without a matching network, this performs amazingly well, because I did a impedance matched trace with a custom stack up, right? So I've got a perfect 50 ohm trace, but the pin on the ESP32S2 is not 50 ohms. It's 35J4 or 34J5, 35J4, whatever it is. So technically it needs a matching network, excuse me, to translate from that to the 50 ohms. Catch a Fred, dozing off, sorry mate. So my ProS2 also had no matching network, not this one. This one has no matching network either, that's an old version. So let me show you very quickly. I'll quickly show you, and then we will, then I'll wrap it up. Okay. So, what I've done is I've got my ProS2 now. So this is with the new pin layout. Did you confirm the RIP for the ProS2 yet? No, I have not. It'll be probably the same pricing as my TinyPICO. Around that ballpark. It's not a budget board. I know there are lots of S2s coming out right now, or people announcing S2s that are more budgety. This is not a budget board. It's a pro high-end board. Catch you later, Fred. So what I've done is I've actually got 2 versions of this board now, my ProS2, and it's got some new features that I haven't spoken about yet, but this one has got a matching network on it, and there's one that doesn't have a matching network. And I'm not going to match it myself. I'm going to get it professionally matched, because it's the... Yeah, well, I don't know. I'll try to do it myself, but I need the boards first, right? And if I'm going to get it professionally matched, I still need the boards. So I was going to send these off to get made last week. but I did the pin change instead. So I was using 38 and 33 for I2C. I'm now using 9 and 8, which is what Espressif are using by default. But the reason I wanted to put the matching network back on here is because I want it to be really good radio, like my TinyPICO is. But interestingly, my Feather S2 with no matching network is as good as my TinyPICO. And if I don't have to put a matching network on there, that's 3 less components I need to place, 3 less components I need to source, and the cost and the delay of getting the boards matched, right? The cost is, you know, we're looking at probably all up $300 US probably to get the board matched, plus the time delay, shipping it to China, waiting, whatever. But yeah, the risk with not matching it is I don't know I can't easily tell what reflection and potential damage, like I'm not too much worried about loss on TX. I'm worried about harm on the antenna pin if my loss and my reflection is too high. So I might go through the exercise of getting it matched anyway, whether I end up producing that board or not. What I want to do is send my RF guy both boards and get him to match one and then compare it to my unmatched and really tell me how much better he can get it, right? If it's only, if the amount of loss is small, then I might just go into production with the unmatched one. And if the amount of loss is large, then I'll go into production with the matched one, if that makes sense. Otherwise, the boards will be the same. So one thing I did add to this board, is everyone sitting down? The people that are going to laugh have probably gone to sleep. I've added Esd Protection. Esd Protection. Right here. No. Yes. So there's no reference PCB design for matching on the pin part. No, there can't be, because every time you change the board in any way, the RF changes. Like there is no... The reference design for the matching network on Espressif's module, for instance, is only usable on Espressif's module. If you change the PCB size or component placement or PCB thickness or trace sizes, then it completely changes the RF characteristics, which means it changes the matching network requirements. So I get that a lot. I get people asking me all the time, you know, what values are you using on your TinyPICO? Can I just use them on my board? Well, no, because the values on my TinyPICO are tuned specifically for the TinyPICO. The antenna I'm using, the trace width, the trace length, what parts are around the trace, the PCB thickness, the stack up, what Esd chip I'm using. I am using, Mark, you will know which one I'm using, or I'm using a variant of it. Don't look at my schematic, it's terrible. I'm going to hide it. I am using the same one you're using, but if I can find it, the smaller package, the USB LC6 2P6 is what I'm using. If I can... So there's 2 reasons I'm putting Esd Protection on there. Firstly, I call it a pro board. But secondly, I had space. Hey, so I've got some space. I had some space to fill, and I couldn't make the board any shorter. Like, it can't be any shorter. I need the clearance over here. So if I'm going to not make the board shorter and I had some space, I'll stick Esd Protection on there. Yeah, we spoke about Esd Protection, Mark. I don't know, a little while ago. So I've actually got other TVSs here that I was going to use, smaller package ones. And they were individual ones. So I was going to place 2 of them on there. But you mentioned you using one, and although you're using a SOT23-6, I think it is. Oh, Paul is still here. So, yeah. I went for this one because it's nice and small. What is it? The SOT 666. I believe it is. Oops. Properties, yeah, SOT 666. So it's nice and small, but not too small. You're impressed. Why are you impressed? I listen to people. I listen to people all the time. I learned by listening to people. Okay, that's it. I'm wrapping it up now, folks. It's been 3 hours. That's way longer than I wanted to. Yeah, that's SOT 143-4. I've never even heard of a SOT 143. I'll have to look into that. But anyway, yeah, I need small. And so I have. So that's it. So my Pros 2, I'm going to send them off probably today with my daughter board for the Nano and see how they go. So stay tuned. Okay. Yes, good night, world. It's time to go. Thank you all very much. I appreciate you hanging out for this long. Thank you all. Thanks again, Aaron Knox, for the super chat. Much appreciated. I will catch you all next week. I hope you have a good week, and I hope everyone on the US side of the world is safe. Stay safe. And yeah, catch you all next week, folks. See you, some of you in Discord. If you're not in my Discord, you should join my Discord. Folks, there's so many of you that are not in my Discord. Let me put my Discord link in here before I forget. I should put it in the description, shouldn't I? I should put it in all my... Yeah, I should. But I'm going to stick it here now. For those of you that are not in my Discord, you should come and join. Lots of really cool people in there. Interesting chats. Okay, there it is. Folks, goodbye. Take care. Bye. So where's the end button? There it is.